Here.
Here.
Miss Tim. Here. Mr. Reitnauer.
Here.
Mr. Sheets.
Mr. Sheets is here. We lost him somewhere in the
Okay.
process.
He's here. Mr. Stubis.
Here.
Mrs. Walliser. Here. Mr. Wagman.
Here.
9 present.
Thank you very much. Recognitions, I will turn over to you, Mr. Pottinger.
Thank you, and thank you for everyone for joining us this evening. It is great to have such a filled room. We have a ton of recognitions this evening, which is a great celebration of all the successes, both academic, retirees that have contributed so much of their life, professional life here, as well as athletic recognition. So again, thank you everyone for being here this evening. We do start with some sad recognition. A longtime custodian that worked at our high school has recently passed away, and when that happens, we like to do something called an obituary minute. So I'm going to take a moment and read the obituary minute. Whereas the Board of Directors of Brandywine Heights Area School District recognizes with profound sorrow the passing of a respected colleague and friend in education, Mr. Barry Fox, on May 5th, 2026. Whereas Mr. Fox was a lifelong resident of Topton and a high school custodian for 31 years, demonstrated an unwavering dedication to the school district, students, staff, and greater community. And whereas Mr. Fox's commitment to education, public service, devotion to the community, and record of excellence will long be remembered and appreciated. Whereas his passing is marked by a deep sense of loss to his family, friends, and colleagues in this district. Whereas the Board of School Directors wishes to publicly acknowledge and honor the extraordinary life and service of Mr. Barry Fox, whose contributions to community education, family, and public service enriched the lives of countless students, staff, and citizens. Now, therefore, be it resolved that a copy of this resolution be entered into the official minutes of the school district at the board meeting held on the 8th of June, 2026, and a copy be forwarded to his bereaved family as an expression of the board's deepest sympathy and gratitude. If we could just take a moment of pause to reflect on Mr. Barry Fox. Thank you. Next up this evening, we have several wonderful recognitions, and it is a great opportunity to recognize people that have contributed so much of their professional life to the school district. And so we're going to recognize 5 staff members that are retiring this year. And so as I call you up, I'd ask that you please join, and your administrator is going to also join you and share a few words. So Mrs. Ann Mole. Mr. Ginge is going to say a few words on behalf of Mrs. Ann Mole.
Good evening, everybody. As I sit here and I reflect on our 2 retiring staff members, Mrs. Mole brought absolute positivity to everything she was doing. If she were here now, if we weren't laughing when she walked in, because she would probably be chuckling too, she might have on some sort of silly costume, because that is what she would bring to our building every single day. And so she served as a transition coordinator, and her responsibility is primarily to help some of our students get ready for those next steps, no matter what it is. And she truly excelled in that position, and did it with just an energy and a positivity that was second to none. So if she were here, I would thank her for all of the time and all of the laughs and the light she brought to the building.
Perfect. And so we have a plaque we will make sure she gets. It is for 18 years of dedicated service to the school district, which is pretty remarkable. So with that being said, our next retiree is also at the high school, and that is Mrs. Karen Walia with 19 years of service.
Here I am again. And again, in reflecting on Ms. Walia's contributions to the high school, she was never afraid to try something, even in her very last year, would try anything and everything to help support her students. And so the English and language arts can sometimes be very complex, and she worked a lot with our seniors and some of our 10th grade students as they were preparing for Keystones, and the work and effort that she would pin every single day, not just in the academic English and language arts courses, but also what she brought to our theater program, and her love for the fine arts and her passion for it really kind of helped define who she was as an educator. So I always say, your goal when you're finishing up is to leave that legacy where you are, and have folks remember you. She truly will be remembered for what she brought to those programs.
And she will be getting a plaque for 19 years of service. Next up, we have Marianne Payne. She is here. She is has 21 years of service, most recently as a fifth grade teacher. Mrs. Jen Snyder is her principal in intermediate middle school, but Mr. Farina has long been her principal here and asked to say a few words on her behalf. So, Marianne?
So first, thank you, Mrs. Snyder, for this opportunity. But I spent 7 wonderful years as the principal of the ISMS. And Mrs. Paney had just moved to 5th grade the year before I came, where she had taught 7th grade for a number of years. And what she did in the classroom over all of those years was help foster that love of reading for our students. But what she did as an educator goes way beyond anything you could ever teach from a book. There were countless times through those years that there were those students whose school might have been a struggle for, or they might not have had all of the opportunities to succeed. And Mrs. Paney worked the hardest and the best with those students, because every student in her class had a home, and every student was respected, and every student knew that when they were in that class, they weren't just going to get a wonderful education, they were truly going to be cared for. So through all of your many, many years of dedicated service here, through all of the curriculum revisions and textbook rewrites and pilots of books, what's most important isn't just that instruction, but it's how you treated the students and how you treated your colleagues and everything you did to make our school a home. So congratulations on a well-earned retirement. Thank you for everything.
Next up, with 35 years of service at the Brandywine Heights Area School District, is Kathy Yole, who is a longtime first grade teacher, third grade, and now first grade teacher with us.
Tonight, it is my honor to recognize Mrs. Kathy Ohl as she retires after 35 years of dedicated service to our district. Throughout her career, Kathy served in a variety of roles, including special education, third grade, and most recently, first grade. No matter the position, she always brought patience, compassion, and a genuine love for teaching that made a lasting difference in the lives of her students. Beyond the classroom, Kathy was a natural leader and trusted colleague. She served as a union building rep, coached field hockey, participated in parent night committees, volunteered her time for countless school events, and I know I'm missing a ton of the things that you have done for our school. She was always willing to step up, lend a hand, and do what was best for students and staff. I was fortunate to work alongside Kathy in third grade and quickly came to appreciate her dedication, positivity, and caring nature. I have fond memories of her daughter Jensen visiting for a variety of things, including Take Your Child to Work Day and just other special occasions. And it was rewarding to see that connection come full circle when I had the opportunity to hire her as a long-term substitute a few years ago. And now she's contracted elsewhere and doing her teaching thing. While 35 years of service is certainly an impressive accomplishment, Kathy's true legacy is found in the relationships she's built, the students she's inspired, and the positive impact she's had on our school community. She will be remembered not only for what she did, but for the way she made people feel supported, valued, and cared for. On behalf of the entire elementary school, thank you, Kathy, for your years of dedication, leadership, and service. Congratulations on your well-deserved retirement, and best wishes for all the happiness and adventures that lie ahead. Of course.
Yeah. Here, step over this way a little bit. There we go.
I will tell you, my first day of retirement, I spent in my daughter's classroom for 2 hours. You may not understand this retirement.
And finally, our last retiree this evening is Mrs. Lisa Whitemore with 36 years of service.
So once again, I'm going to steal Mrs. Snyder's thunder, but similar to Mrs. Paney, I've had such a tremendous opportunity to work with such a great professional in Mrs. Weidemoyer. And I think back to my first couple of years when she was a 6th grade teacher. I said, we can get so much more out of you than what you're doing in the 6th grade, which was already a ton, because I could just tell that Lisa can work with kids who need additional help. And we said, you know what? They do intervention and title down at the elementary, and there's no reason why we can't do that in the intermediate middle school. So I went to there and said, can you trust me and take on a completely different role where you're going to do intervention some part of the day, gifted another part of the day? It's all going to work. We've got a plan for it. We didn't have a plan for it. We had half a plan, but we built the plane while it was already in the air. And every year, Lisa refined that program. And that program is what it is today in this building because of the hard work and dedication of Mrs. Weidemoyer. She firmly believes, like all of our staff, that every student can succeed and that every student just needs that little extra assistance from time to time. And over the last 8 years in intervention, she has spent every day in math, in reading, helping her colleagues, saying, let's try this with this student, working with families. She has just put tremendous effort into intervention in this building. And when we look at where we've come from a success standpoint and the growth that students have made, it is in no small part to the work that you do every day. Mrs. Weidemoyer, like Mrs. Paney and all of our retirees, have done such a tremendous job for our students, our schools, and our community. And it is a well-earned retirement. Thank you for everything.
We can give all our retirees a round of applause. We are very blessed and lucky to have such a strong connected network of community members and community organizations that reach out and support us. And one of those organizations is the Education Foundation. Mrs. Kristen Herring is the president of the Education Foundation. They have donated they've donated over $85,000 to the school district this year alone. And most recently have donated $1,000 to support our graduation. They also were an instrumental part of organizing graduation, of handing out programs and water bottles for everyone that was there, and sponsored that for our guests. So, Mrs. Herring, thank you so much for everything you do from the Education Foundation perspective. Similarly, we have a partner that services the Brandywine Heights Area School District as well as the Kutztown Area School District, and a little bit of Fleetwood, and that is the Hobo organization, helping others before ourselves. And Mr. Tad Hedinger is here. Mr. Hedinger, do you mind coming up here? They have donated $10,000 to the school district this year to help specifically for meals for those that are in need. As well as supporting families that are struggling financially and maybe have a lunch debt that they're not able to pay off. And so they've specifically targeted supporting those students in need and have generously donated $10,000 to that cause. So if we can give the Hobo organization a huge round of applause. Put you on the spot.
Okay, you can put me on the spot. On behalf of the hobos, I'll just say most people don't understand what our organization is, and they hear the word hobo, and they probably have a lot of different thoughts as to what that is. The Kutztown Hobos perhaps started in 1965. It was part of the Kutztown Sesquicentennial, and they coined the name hobos for helping others before ourselves, and the legacy has continued. So much like the Friends of Brandywine, we do plenty of fundraisers throughout the year, raise a lot of money, as Mr. Pottinger mentioned. Kutztown, Brandywine, and Fleetwood area school districts are our focus area. So if you ever know anybody, families out there that are in need or need assistance, we're here to help. So reach out to a local hobo, and we're happy to help.
Thank you. I'm going to have you stand up here for a second. So connected with the hobos, connected with the Education Foundation, and I know Friends of Brandywine. I think there's some representatives from Friends of Brandywine, if you don't mind standing as well. Friends of Brandywine has donated over $55,000 this year. So between these three organizations, there's over $150,000 just this year alone that's went back into this community, into this school district all because of the generous support of these folks. So if I can have you guys come up here, we're gonna get a big group photo here, Mike. It is a huge accomplishment for what they've done. So if we give all of these organizations around the Perfect. Thank you, guys. Again, huge round of applause. Amazing contribution you've done. All right, we are going to switch our program now a little bit and focus on student recognitions. And so our first student recognition is something called Victory Day. You've probably heard of Special Olympics. We're not allowed to call it Special Olympics, so just forget I just said that, especially since it's on live feed. But we hosted an event this year, Victory Day. Oh, there it is. Where we go? Go. So we had a chance to host Victory Day, Special Olympics, just this year because we used to always go to another school district. They weren't able to do it this year. Dr. Kircher, who is the Pupil Services Director, soon to be assistant to the superintendent, stepped in and said, we can take this challenge on. And it was a challenge. It was a huge effort with her leadership, with all the staff involved, with the teachers, but what an awesome day. And you see that joy in the kids on those pictures that are up there. And she created that opportunity that otherwise they would not have had. So a huge round of applause to Dr. Kircher and all the staff involved for creating that opportunity. Would you like to say anything?
We had over 175 student participants come from 5 neighboring districts in the county. So it really was a worthwhile experience that was so meaningful for all of the students and staff and peer buddies that were involved, because I think every student had just as many peer buddies between the districts. So it really was an event that made memories for them. All right, Mrs. Snyder is up.
All right. So we have 3 students we're going to recognize this evening, all in the intermediate middle school. And so I'm going to ask Mrs. Jen Snyder to come up and recognize those 3 students. I'm going to ask Mrs. Lindsay Levengood to come up and recognize those 3 students.
I've been tagged this time around. Come on. Okay, so we're going to start with the Bokikio boys and Coach Bokikio. You guys can just come on up. We'll make it as comfortable as possible for you guys. All right. So these 2 boys are part of a program called Odyssey of the Minds, which is out of Kutztown School District. Miles here, his team advanced to state finals from regionals, but did not advance to the world finals. However, his team was recognized with a special award rarely granted. Miles will explain a little bit more about that. And then you have Quinn, who actually got to go to the world finals. I'll let him talk about that too. Go ahead. Miles, you want to start?
So this contraption on the ground here that we made was part of what we made for Odyssey of the Mind. Odyssey of the Mind is basically, I don't know. It's basically he's described it as competitive competitive stagecraft, where effectively you have to make a skit according to a problem with a small budget that has to do often very specific things. We did the vehicle problem this year, and this is, although it does not look like it, a train engine. It is Odyssey Mine is sponsored by Arm & Hammer Baking Soda, so every year they choose one of their problems and you have to use baking soda in it. And we managed to make a fully functional steam train that used a baking soda and citric acid reaction to power it. This is by far the largest thing I have ever made. And maybe the largest thing I have made just in general. However, in the regional competition, which is the first stage, it didn't actually end up working. We didn't have enough time, and we missed a few things when we were building it. However, to everyone's surprise, we got this award, the Renata Fusca, I think it's called, which not only guarantees the progression to the next level of the competition. We then it is also probably considered the most prestigious award in Odyssey of the Mind. And we advanced to the state finals, but we did not advance to the world finals. It's just only the top 2 teams in each of them progress, so it's not. My team has not yet advanced to the world finals yet, but we've advanced to the state finals.
As we got to Worlds, I also did the vehicle problem as Miles. We made a electric magnet to collect train cargo, and we got first in regionals, first in states, but then we only got 14th out of 54, 12th out of 54 teams in Worlds.
Not only that.
What else did you want to say?
This was one of the props I made, and it was a hamburger hat because in the story I was the loving conductor. And this is made out of a Arm & Hammer baking soda paper mache.
Very cool.
Did you want to say a little about
Sure, go
what
ahead.
Odyssey is? Okay, I'll make it quick, then you guys got a lot to go through. What is Odyssey? Odyssey, well, just for the finals, the people who made actually first place in their individual divisions after going through regionals and states, there were 800 teams that went to finals. There were 16,000 people there. It was held at Iowa State University. The president of the university, when he was there, said that the Odyssey group, when they fill the entire Hilton Arena with them, is the loudest that arena has ever been. Which is just a way of saying that this is an incredibly enthusiastic group of people. There were 20 different countries there. Quinn wants me to tell you that there were more competitors at Odyssey of the Mind than at the Winter Olympics. There are 800 different teams represented. Each team has 7 kids on it. We divide those kids into divisions 1, 2, and 3, which is essentially elementary, middle, and high school. And they're all given the same set of problems. It doesn't matter how old they are. They all have the same problem. And what are these problems? They range from technical problems like the train problem, which this thing was supposed to go across a track and pick up 3 separate train cars and then have cargo added to it as it went, then the cargo had to come out and be assembled into some sort of sculpture at the end. It kind of looks like figure skating rules, where you get a list of all point categories that are available, and then the kids is completely kid-oriented endeavor. Volunteer on the parent side to coach it, but it's all kids that do it. And it covers structural, it covers performance, it covers music, and it's designed to kind of encapsulate everything. One thing that makes Odyssey Mind different from other, what I would say, engineering challenges or competitions is that it is not enough. As we saw with this, we did not make it the world. It was even a pretty elaborate contraption. It is not enough just to show up with an over-engineered solution. It also has to be thematic. You have to solve thematic and creative problems as well as technical problems in Odyssey. What I tell people, why do you do Odyssey? When parents ask me, like, what is in it for us? I said, what it does is it teaches your kids to finish hard problems that take a long time. Most of these children work for 8 months after school, twice a week often, sometimes 3 times a week. Coming in, sometimes every day. And they understand their timetable and they understand their goals. It's completely student driven. Thanks.
Congratulations.
You guys want a picture? Here. You hold up your stuff.
By the way, this train is still time for
The next student we'll be acknowledging is David Schwartzentruber. He's been working on a speech all day. So, do you want me to open it up at least? Okay. David participated in the International Academic Competition. He qualified at the regional qualifier, which is a test that we took in class. He qualified for history, geography, and science. He decided to take on science to the regional test, which is something that he did online on a Saturday night. And now I'm going to pass it on to you.
This is a very complicated science competition, and I just want to say thank you for supporting me. And we do 4 rounds over the course of 2 days with the finals and semifinals on a Sunday. Yeah, and we cover every single branch of science. Let's see, biology, chemistry, astronomy, anatomy, physics, computer science, and software companies. We also cover famous scientists and what they're known for, as well as their writings and theories. And I forgot math concepts used in science. Let's see. There's a Jeopardy style competition with the buzzers. And I went against the top 1% of 4th graders in the nation. There are 135 of us.
It's amazing.
I also encourage anybody else who takes this to study.
And where did it take place?
In Florida, Orlando. So.
Yeah, very cool.
Would it happen to be your shirt that's on?
Yeah.
Very sure. And what did you place out of that many students?
I think it was 52nd, but the top 50 got to go to internationals.
Next year. Is that all? Okay, awesome.
We can give all 3 boys a round of applause. So next up, we have several athletic recognitions. We had a phenomenal sports season, really a phenomenal sports year, but this spring has just been remarkable. So many records that have broken, so many testaments to the hard work, to the dedication from these students. Mr. Pinelli, who's our athletic director, unfortunately was not able to be with us because of the great things that are happening. He is on a road trip right now with the boys volleyball team up to the State College area. And so we're going to try to tap into them in just a few minutes. But to start off the recognitions, I'd like to invite our track coach, Mr. Hojanowski, up to recognize 4 of our track athletes.
Thank you, and thank you all for the opportunity to recognize our fantastic student athletes. I am a firm believer that successes should be celebrated, and as much as myself and our coach staff, the rest of our coaching staff loves doing the coaching, there's nothing that we love more than seeing our student athletes achieve their goals and reach these milestones. So with that, we're going to start off with our youngest school record holder. Jordan Henninger set the high school record in the women's 100 meters as a freshman. Yes, it's impressive. She ran 13.41 seconds at the county championship meets, and I don't think any of us had expected, at least of all Jordan. Jordan, if you want to come down, bring your dad with you, or the rest of your family, please. Yeah, I don't think any of us expected, at least of all Jordan. She had only run under 14 seconds once in the earlier part of the season, and to drop more than a half of a second is just really something that's uncommon. But we were working on her block starts, and literally like right before that race. And sometimes that happens where you just put the right pieces together, that combined with her natural great physical abilities. And she not only set the school record, but she earned herself a trip to districts for both the 100 and the 200 on that day. And when she went to districts, she was 1/100th of a second away from matching her school record. So it was pretty much a uniquely great accomplishment. The best part about this is she's a freshman. And I get to work with this for another 3 years. So I think we'll be seeing her back here a few more times. Jordan Henninger. Next up, Julia Koblenz set the high school record in the 100-meter hurdles. Julia, if you wouldn't mind coming down here with your mom and dad. Bring the family. And she did it appropriately on senior night at the high school. One of our first 2 home meets on our new track that you guys worked so hard to get us all. Thank you so much for supplying us with a state-of-the-art facility that really helps accomplish these things, like people setting new high school records and doing well at districts. But yeah, it was a night where we were already celebrating our high school athlete seniors, and what a better way to do it than also setting a new high school record. She also broke that record 2 weeks later at the county championship meet, setting it at a new low of 16.48 seconds. Now, this entire season for Julia has been consistent with her lowering that hurdle time from the first meet all the way through. It's been a steady progression of lowering it. She's a real model of what it takes. Sprinting is won by little tiny increments of improvement spread out over a long period of time. And Julia is a great example of what hard work and dedication can do. Julia Koblenz.
Thank you.
And then there's Ella Pottiger. Come on down. And bring your mom. And your dad's already up here. This is where we finally land with this whole season with the 100-meter hurdles as far as the records go. From the earliest part of the seasons, it seemed most likely that Ella, Julia, and one of our other hurdlers, Reagan Hooper, were probably going to make it to districts. Ella had many things to shuffle, though, this season. But it did seem in the beginning that Julia was the one that was really progressing. But Ella was undeterred. She worked harder on her own. She would come after practice by herself if that's what it took. She was juggling things like a flight schedule for her aviation endeavors, also a oral surgery as well, and she had to overcome that. She had many more obstacles than just the 10 hurdles that are in your way. I also think it's fair to say that she had the oddest hurdling season I have ever seen or heard of. From at the Shaner meet when a hurdle was knocked into her lane and she had to do 11 hurdles instead of 10, and then come back the next day and rerun her race by herself and set a PR to make finals and earn a 4th place medal at the Shaner meet. And then when she went to districts, she ran the preliminary race and set the new high school record at 16.29 seconds, right? 2-1, sorry. 16.21 seconds. And then that got you to the finals. I'm not missing any of this, right? And then for the finals, they decided that they were going to run the race backwards. Literally. We had never seen it before. I've seen it on TV and on clips on YouTube, but I've never heard of it. But the PIAA guys looked at the wind and said, you know what, for the 100 and 100 hurdles, we're going to go the opposite direction. So if somebody who's run hurdles since 7th grade, I take it, running the exact same way every single time, her final race, they're going to say, you know what, do it backwards. That did not deter her, though, because she tied her high school record time going in the opposite direction. So, yes, she has been a real inspiration, and it's been a joy to watch her run, especially because she really epitomizes what it means to have a super strong belief in yourself and what you are capable of yourself. And that's why she was able to accomplish everything that she's able to accomplish. So, Ella Potic, please. One quick note about the hurdles just before they go. I would say that between Julia and Ella, they set the new high school record in the hurdles 3 times in 4 weeks. So that in itself is right. And I think a great way to describe them is as great competitors, but even better friends. So, and that's a great thing too. That deserves a round of applause, I think. We have one final award to give. Unfortunately, John Shuey wasn't able to stay. His family, they had a prior commitment, so he had to leave just a few minutes ago. But John is a 2-time district champion in the men's 400. He ran his best time ever at districts in the preliminaries, earning him a trip to the state championship where he earned a 7th place medal. John is only a junior, so we get him back next year. But he is a very competitive athlete, and I'm sure that he has his eyes set on gold for next year at states. His time of 48.97 would normally stand for years at most high schools. But John is a very competitive guy, and I'm pretty sure we will be back here next year with an even lower time than that. So, and it's great to have an athlete of John's nature on the team, not just to celebrate his successes, but also because he shows a great example to the rest of the team about the level of work and dedication that it takes to get to that level. He competes they're all summer long in the AAU meets. He competes all winter long in the winter indoor meets. Well, John thrives on competition, and he regularly meets and exceeds all of our expectations. So hats off to John Shuey, and I will make sure we get these awards to him very, very soon. So John Shuey. I'm sorry? I'll make sure you get some. I have another one though from the county, so I can get them both to him. There you go. Oh, so you got 2 for him. School record? I'm the district. I got you. Thank you. I have another one from the county meet as well.
Perfect. Next up, we have some softball recognitions. And so I'm going to ask our coach, Taylor Shadler, to come up here. She, as she comes up, Mrs. Shadler is a Brandywine alum, was a softball legend in her own right, and has most recently joined as one of our teachers. And this is the first year as the softball coach. If you don't know Taylor's story, she was in the dugout the day before she had her baby, still coaching away, and 4 days later came to an award ceremony. So a huge congratulations for a very successful season and what you do in the classroom as well.
Thank you. Hello, thank you guys for having us. First, I would like to introduce Caitlin and her family to come on up. Our first milestone recognition of the evening goes to Caitlin. She recorded her 200th career strikeout on May 12th. Reaching 200 strikeouts as a sophomore is an incredible accomplishment and a testament to the hard work, dedication, and commitment she has poured into her game over the years. Caitlin's success is much more than her talent in the circle. She is a fierce competitor, a great teammate, and someone who continually strives to improve every day. Her work ethic and determination and passion for the game has helped her make her one of the top pitchers in the area. With 2 more years still ahead of her, the milestone is only the beginning. We are incredibly proud of Caitlin for reaching 200 career strikeouts and look forward to watching her continue to achieve great things in a Brandywine uniform. All right, next up, I'm going to invite Cameron Henry and her family to join me. Mom and Dad. Cam said she wants to say a few words, I believe. No? Oh, okay. They begged me not to have to talk. So another highlight of our season came on May 18th when Cameron recorded her 100th career hit. Reaching 100 hits is an accomplishment that reflects her dedication, consistency, and hard work. While the milestone itself is impressive, what makes it even more special is the type of athlete and person Cameron is. She leads by example, puts the team first, and works tirelessly to improve every day. Cameron has been an incredible leader for our program, and her impact extends far beyond the softball field. Her commitment, work ethic, and character has earned the respect of her coaches and her teammates. As she continues her athletic career playing field hockey at the collegiate level, there is no doubt that she will find success wherever life takes her. We are incredibly proud of her and all she accomplished and grateful for everything she has given our program. Congratulations, Cameron, on an outstanding career and a well-deserved milestone. All right, and then the last thing, I would like to invite my entire team to come on up. Come on, girls, a little faster. So slow. All right, so one of our greatest accomplishments of our season came on May 21st when this team captured the district championship. From the very beginning of the year, this group of girls really just believed in our vision, embraced the process, kind of took everything in as a new coach coming in. They just did everything that I asked. So winning a district championship is never easy. It takes dedication, sacrifice, resilience, and belief in one another. Throughout the season, these girls faced many challenges, overcame adversity, and continued to compete with confidence and determination. Every player on this team played an important role in making this championship run possible. More than the trophy itself, is the championship represents the culture that this team is really building for Brandywine softball. I remember when I played back in my day, the standard was really set with Don Roach as the head coach, and I feel like we're finally getting back there, and these girls has helped shape that to getting back to where we used to be. We are incredibly proud of this team and everything they accomplished, and being crowned a district championship is a well-deserved reward for this group that truly earned it every step of the way. So I'm really proud of you girls, and thank you for everything this season. Yeah, let's hide them back. Thank you guys again.
Next up, we have our baseball coach, Mr. Amato. See you this evening. Maybe it's not here this evening. So if I can have Brady Lieb come up. So Brady is getting an award for 100 strikeouts, and I'm going to read what was presented here. It says, "Congratulations, Brady Lee, on surpassing 100 career strikeouts this season. Brady reached the milestone on April 30th against Conestoga Christian, which he recorded 13 strikeouts on the day and also added 2 home runs and an outstanding all-around performance. Congratulations, Brady." Now I know. I know the girls were not asked to say something, but I'm gonna have you say something. Talk to us a little about, I know, put you on the spot. Talk to us a little about what it felt like to get that 100 strikeouts out. Okay, come on.
My whole high school career, 100 strikeouts is something I was working towards. And honestly, at the beginning of this year, I was so dead set on just working. I honestly didn't want to play baseball. My parents, they forced me to play baseball, and I don't at all regret it. I don't regret it one bit, because without them, like, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have hit 100 strikeouts, and that's all I wanted to do all my high school career.
Well done. See? You did great. So hard. And he's a senior this year, so it makes it even more special that he got that accomplishment. Congratulations, Brady. We are going to connect here. We have some recognitions for our volleyball team. They're on their way up to a semifinal volleyball game up in the State College area. And so we're going to try to connect with them on a Zoom link. They're in vans right now. And so they're going to be facing backwards in a van, trying to connect with us just to say a few words and encourage them as they move forward here. Maybe not. She's not driving. No, we were careful to coordinate all this and hopes that this is going to work. So we had one person, there's 2 vans. We had one person in each van that was supposed to be hopping on the Zoom link and ready to roll. But I think we are going to have to surpass this and move forward. So they are heading on to states. This team is a team of mostly seniors. There's one junior. The team has been doing phenomenal. Most opponents they come up against out measure them in height. But the way that these students and kids perform, the way that they're able to work together as a team, the heart, the soul, just like was talked about with the softball team, is reflective also with our volleyball team. They have been doing a phenomenal job of just carrying on a phenomenal season. And we wish them the best of luck as they go on to their state semifinal game tomorrow. So without applause, let's give them a round of applause. So we have also 2 recognitions for New Heights Award, but I also was noted that I keep looking up here to see if they're going to connect. I forgot to mention that Austin Ambruster, who is one of our senior athletes, has been a phenomenal. Sorry, I thought they saw him connect. Has been a phenomenal volleyball player. He has surpassed 2,000 career assists on May 14th during the county championship match against Exeter. Austin reached this incredible milestone in the championship match while helping lead the Bulls through the program's first county championship in school history. So huge congratulations to Austin. And I know he's going on to play, and if he was on here, I was going to ask him to talk about this, but I know he's going on to play college volleyball at Elizabethtown. So we wish him the best of luck where he's going. With that being said, we're going to switch gears. Every month, we like to recognize 2 employees as New Heights Award winners. This is an opportunity staff get recognized, and we nominate out of those staff that are recognized every month. We recognize and highlight 2 staff members. So the first one I'd like to bring forward is Alexa Sheets. So if we can have Alexa join us. this is what was shared on behalf of Alexa. I'd like to nominate Ms. Sheets for the New Heights Award in recognition of the outstanding work they have done since joining our high school staff. As a new member of the district, Alexa has quickly made a positive impact through her hard work, dedication, and commitment to students. Alexa can also be spotted at many after-school events as well. Since arriving, Alexa has worked tirelessly to learn our school community, establish strong classroom routines, and support students' successes. She's built positive, meaningful relations with students by creating a welcoming environment, showing genuine care for their academic and personal growth. Alexa has also done an excellent job maintaining communication between home and school. Her professionalism, work ethic, and student-centered approach have made her a valuable addition to our staff and a deserving candidate for this recognition. Congratulations. And then Mr. Ginge is going to say a few words.
Anyone in your first year of teaching knows how difficult it can be. You know, you're getting used to just the pace of the building, you're meeting your students, and you're getting your courses, and all in Ms. Sheets' first year too. It was a wide gamut of courses that were interesting and challenging and sometimes different. In science in the community, which is a lot of different things, and then ultimately physics, which is what her expertise was when she was in school. But brings such an energy to what she is doing with our students that honestly in her first year she was exhibiting the experience of someone who has been around for many years, and I am so proud of everything that she was able to accomplish with the students this year, but also for the marks that she set for what's going to be an incredible career. So thank you, Ms. Sheets.
We are going to present you with a certificate. I'm going to forget your mug too.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yes. Yes. Congratulations. And our final recognition, certainly not least, is Mr. Tyler Kemp. Mr. Kemp, if you don't mind joining us up here. This is what was shared about Tyler. Tyler is an amazing co-teacher. He's always on top of his caseload and is a constant communication with parents. The difference as a solid co-teacher like Tyler makes the classroom palpable. Without him in some of my classes, the struggle would be real. His dedication to his profession is commendable, and his compassion for students is evident in all that he does. He is top notch. Congratulations.
Hey guys, me. Mr. Kemp is such a voice of support for his students. There's a lot of challenges sometimes with some of the students that Mr. Kemp is helping through some tougher subjects, and it has been in our younger grades in 9th and 10th grade who sometimes have that added piece of transitioning to high school life and acting like adults, which can be sometimes a chore too. And so what Mr. Kemp brings in his classroom is really just being an advocate for those students and making sure that they have a voice. And I know that they genuinely feel supported. I know I'm excited to see him in what will be his new role, working with some different students next year. But beyond, proud of everything he's been able to accomplish so far with the students.
In regards to the agenda, hearing none, we can move on to Board of Directors report. Could I get a motion and a second?
Motion right now.
Second Sheets. All right, several items on the Board of Directors report this evening. The first one is the meeting minutes from the May 4th meeting, which was held at BCTC. Any updates that need to be made to those meeting minutes? Okay. We have second reading policies. This is the employee assistance program, pre-employment drug testing program, which we do with our staff. And then the one that has been part of a conversation with the board for some time now is the district initiated real estate tax assessment. I would like to point out into your folders that are in front of you this evening. There is a spreadsheet that is there. That spreadsheet highlights what would essentially be the map out of potential impact from tax assessments. It is broken out as a document that looks like this. It has parcel numbers on there that were sold within the past year. It also has the incremental tax increase of if we set the threshold at $1,500, if we set the threshold at $2,000, or if we set the threshold at $5,000. And just as a reminder, what this policy is developed to do would initiate a tax assessment appeal if a property is sold within the school district, and only if and when a property is sold in the school district, and that property assessment value and the tax increase would equal one of these amounts, 1,500, 2,000, or 5,000. Right now, the policy is written as 2,000. If the threshold between what the value of the house is, what the value of the house was sold at, would equate to over a $2,000 differential, then this policy would kick into place, and then the district would pursue a tax assessment. That process would partner with our legal representation and be part of the Berks assessment process. If we were to enact this policy, as you can see from this chart, the total income that would come into place when we pull out the properties that are identified as clean and green would be $47,700 if we use the 2,000 mark, which is in the policy. So we wanted to provide that information to the board to make sure that you had all the information before voting. Before I move on to the rest of the items, I'll open up to any discussion that the board might want to have.
Thank you for adding the clean green piece and then the commercial designation. And also, Mrs. Cutler, you have provided like back 5 years history, which I found really helpful. I did dig into some of the details. I do have a question about the commercial piece. And this might be for you, Mr. Pratt. Would it be possible for us to test the waters by doing this just for commercial properties initially?
You have to do it for all. You can't be selective.
So we can be selective based on amounts,
Correct. For non-properties, type of properties.
but not on type of property.
Correct.
Okay.
There's a case that came out of the Eastern District of the state, which
and it is specifically focused on replacing HVAC units in the intermediate and middle school wing upstairs.
Sure. Thank you, Ms. Prodiger. So this grant, we actually had passed a resolution for this grant back, I want to say, in January. And we had initially looked to do a grant for about $500,000, but in working with Mr. Molitoris and then a few vendors, we realized that this is a grant that we would be able to ask the state for a much larger sum. So in total, we're looking for this grant to be $1,500,000, and that would replace close to 20 HVAC units in the building. If we were to earn this grant of $1.5 million, the district would have to contribute a match of $500,000. But when you look at the costs of replacing that many units, to get that many units for $500,000 would be a bargain. So in working with the individuals who are responsible for the grant at DCED, which is Department of Economic Development, they have allowed us to, with our already submitted grant application, to put in for a new resolution this evening and send that new resolution just signifying that the board would be in support of a much larger grant to cover much more of the HVAC infrastructure repairs to the building. So that is the resolution that is before you this evening, and I can answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Farina. Just a reminder to use your mic because I forgot to use my mic, and Andrew just reminded me to use mine. So, and the reason is because Mrs. Herring's getting hard of hearing out there. No, the mics connect to the live stream, and if we don't have it on, they can't hear us. So, thank you.
I'm sorry for the comment, Mrs. Herring.
We have item E to reaffirm Saxon Stump as the school district solicitor of record. You can see the rates as follows. The shareholder and senior counsel remain the same, and there is a slight increase for the associate and paralegal rates. Item F is to approve the lease extension agreement with American Tower Corporation. You may or may not know, but there is a cell tower right in the back of this facility at the intermediate middle school. That cell tower has been here for several years, over 20 years. They approached us, and with this agreement, which we did approve back in April at the April 13th meeting, we're now approving the official legal agreement. And I thought it was important to do that so it's on public record that we have that contract established. But this will create 4 5-year terms, so 20 years, and the signing bonus will be $40,000 to do that 4 5-year terms. This will extend us out to 2059, and each year there is a 3% escalator. So from the initial contract from now all the way to 2059, on top of the 40,000, there is a 3% escalator connected to this agreement. Again, this was approved in April 13th. I'm bringing it back to the board for consideration for the final contract. Item G is to appoint the school board treasurer. This is a 1-year term. It begins July 1st, 2026, and would end next June 2027. Currently, it is Mr. Sheets. I'll turn it over to you.
So G, it's currently Mr. Sheets. Is Mr. Sheets still interested in carrying that role?
Keep doing it. I'm good. Yeah.
Is everyone okay with Mr. Sheets continuing that role?
Yes.
Moving on to thank you for continuing to
You're welcome.
offer your services.
It was my pleasure.
To appoint a voting delegate to the Pennsylvania School Board Association that is currently held by Mrs. Eisenhart and Mrs. Walliser. Are children still interested?
I will give a caveat that there's not an online option this year.
It
It's
wasn't-
only in person.
It wasn't last year either, and it was at Kalahari, and this year it's at an auditorium.
Yes, it is. It's very exciting.
But yes, I.
That's not a way to get people to take our spot.
Yeah, that's what- to stop that last year was Kalahari. That's where you should have stopped.
Yes, that's what I would say.
Someone else would like to do it. Sounds appealing.
That wasn't the best sales pitch. Okay, moving on to committee reports. BCIU, Mrs. Hume.
Good evening, everyone. The last Board of Directors meeting for the Berks County Intermediate Unit Board of Directors was held Thursday, May 21st. The most impactful item that the Board of Directors at the IU did was vote on and unanimously approve Mr. Robert Farina as the IU's new Director of Professional Learning. So the BCIU board is extremely thrilled to have Rob join that team. Despite how sad we are here at Brandywine, we know, Rob, you're going to do great work at the IU, leading teams, driving curriculum, doing all sorts of cool programs, both at the local, county, state level. So the board is extremely thrilled to have you join them. So congratulations on that. Well, what's great is, the IU works so closely with the 18 school districts and the 2 CTCs and lots of private schools around the county. So it's not like we won't see him any longer.
I believe his contact.
Yeah. we might charge him a tax or a toll or something to enter our buildings. I don't know. Yeah.
That sticker off there.
So again, congratulations and welcome to the BCIU effective July 1st. Additional business that the board of directors at the IU conducted. There are 2 very major construction projects on facilities underway. One is at the BCIU main office. You've heard me talk about this repeatedly. The goal is to have the classroom space that's being added to that main office, at least 8 classrooms and some therapy rooms and lots of good stuff happening by August. So when kids get back in the buildings, there's also a major construction project at a facility now called the BCIU Learning Center at Center Avenue. So similar to where the Ed Center had been, it's actually adjacent to that, and it's a renovated, very large credit union building. So lots of construction activity and facilities activity, and the project is going extremely well. The board also voted on an employee referral bonus with lots of details, but high level, it's a $750 referral bonus. Those are enhanced numbers based on the existing referral bonus that is in place. It's going extremely well. The IU has lots of vacant positions constantly. And so existing employees at the IU are one of the 2 major sources of filling those positions. There was a school bus driver safety competition. It's an annual event that the BCIU participates in. Lots of the BCIU transportation drivers participated, and several of them won some cool awards and will compete at the next level, which I think is the state level. The BCIU was honored with the 2026 RAC, so Reading Area Community College President's Award. So that was a nice honor for the organization and acknowledged the leadership and contribution that the IU has in public education around the county. One of Mr. Farina's soon-to-be colleagues, named Dr. Michelle Reichert Huff, who manages more than 500 employees and thousands of early education or young kids, like preschool age kids programs, received an ambassador award on behalf of the Pennsylvania intermediate unit. So again, some real nice recognition for leaders here in Berks County, acting again, both locally and at the state level. And then finally, there's an annual secondary art exhibition where high school kids from around the county are invited to submit pieces. And the piece is in the permanent or added to the permanent collection at the BCIU. So if you ever have the opportunity to go to the main office for programs or training or activities, you'll see all of the corridors, particularly on the first floor, are decorated with student artwork. So this year's winner was a freshman from Ole High School, and her artwork is going to be in the permanent collection at the BCIU. So I thought that was pretty cool. The next meeting of the BCIU Board of Directors is coming up on Thursday, June 18th, and that will be the last meeting until the August timeframe. So thank you. That concludes my report.
BCTC, Mr. Ridenhour.
BCTC met May 27th at the East Campus. The JOC celebrated 80 BCTC students that earned first, second, or third place finishes in the regional and state competitions throughout the 25-26 school year. we celebrated Madison Herring, a health occupation student from our own Brandywine Heights school, high school, with a $500 grant. Students' last day was June 4th, and the next meeting is June 24th at the West Campus.
Thank you, Mr. Reitnauer. Mrs. Detweiler, BEITC.
We have not had a meeting. Our next quarterly meeting is June 25th, so I will update in August.
Thank you very much. COLA, Mrs. Walliser.
No meeting, so I have nothing to report. Do you have anything, Mr. Pattinger?
I just put the dates in for next year.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Policy Committee, Mr. Reitnauer.
Please refer to the agenda.
Thank you, sir. Strategic Planning and Goals, Mrs. Eisenhart.
There will be end of year goals presented in the meeting later on this evening. And for negotiations, we did have a few meetings. The dates are listed and the date is listed in to discuss healthcare options for employees.
Thank you. Building and Construction Committee, Mr. Pottinger, I'll turn it over to you.
So we did meet on May 19th. There's several items that are in here. Most of these items are going to be presented as contract recommendations. I just will point out that the high school woodshop expansion and greenhouse are just about done. We did receive a $2,200 credit back for not doing some work covering the dust collector, which we felt was not necessary at this point. So with that being said, again, most of these items will fall on the business operation report.
Question while we're talking about that.
Sure.
What did we decide on about the bleacher situation at the gym, at the new stadium? Like, what are we doing with the bleachers again? Like, I know ones, but what are we doing with the old ones?
We tried to find another school district to purchase them.
Okay.
There wasn't anyone that was interested, and so we are actually looking to scrap them for aluminum costs.
Whatever you get for those.
Yeah. So let's get something out of
Thank
it.
you. I couldn't
Yep.
remember if we ever.
We talked about
finalized
moving
what it
them. We
was.
looked at the cost to move them, but it is so costly to pick them up and move them. It just wasn't worth it.
When we completed, we ordered greenhouse noise.
Sure, absolutely.
And then I guess just have a meeting over at the high school. That one, so be okay.
Yeah, I'll make sure I coordinate something. Absolutely. It's a great opportunity to see. Yeah, thank you for saying that. Thank you.
Any additional comments, questions? Hearing none, can I get a roll call?
Mrs. Herzog?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, wait, did you say Herzog?
Yeah,
Sorry.
can we vote on that,
Do you want to?
the tax item,
Yeah.
the tax appeal item separately, please?
So who made the motion on the second?
John,
You
let's
just-
do it right
You
now.
guys are okay voting on the letter number E3?
B.
Oh, B3, sorry. So we are taking a roll call on everything except B3.
Mrs. Herzog?
Yes.
Mr. Harnshaw?
Yes.
Mrs. Hume?
Yes.
Mr. Reitnauer?
Yes.
Mr. Sheets?
Yes.
Mr. Stubitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Walliser?
Yeah.
Mrs. Eisenhart?
Yes.
Mr. Wagman?
Yes.
9 yeas, motion carries.
All right, now roll call on B3.
Mr. Stubitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Walliser?
Yes.
Mrs. Eisenhart?
Yes.
Mrs. Herzog?
Yes.
Mr. Harnshaw?
Yes.
Mrs. Hume?
No.
Mr. Reitnauer?
No.
Mr. Sheets?
Yes.
Mr. Wagman?
Yes.
7 yeas, 2 noes, motion carries.
Okay. Can I get a motion and second for business and operations report?
So moved, Sheets.
Second right now.
What letter is that?
It's actually already.
It's already separate.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a
Here we go.
lot.
Step in there, woman.
Yeah.
A lot of contracts.
This could take a while. So item A is the general fund bills through May 15th. Item B is food service fund bills, and item C is capital reserve fund bills. Are there any questions on any of the bills? Item D are the financial reports for both April and May for all of our funds, as listed. and there are no budget transfers to report. So are there any questions on any of those? Okay, then moving on to item E, the special ed pupil services. First item is to approve a shared nursing agreement between Brandywine and Fleetwood to hire a shared sub in lieu of contracted services for the next school year, fiscal year, which will renew annually thereafter with a 90-day opt-out. Next item is to approve an agreement with the News Story School for student services for next school year. This is a continuation from services this year. Item 3 is to approve the agreement for special ed services with BCIU. This is an annual agreement that we approve. Item 4 is to approve the Infinite Campus Special Ed Admin IEP Notification Data Extract Utility Report Fee. And this is an update that the fee is shared with other districts. Item 5 is to approve a service agreement with JB Therapy Solutions for the next school year for our part-time speech, and this is an annual agreement. Item 6 is to approve the contract for 2 students for the next school year with River Rock, and this is a new contract for 2 new students. Item 7 is to approve an agreement with CCIU for one student in the emotional support program, and this is a renewal continuation of services. Item 8 is to approve an agreement with Lehigh Valley Health Network to provide a school physician beginning July 1. This is a slight decrease over our current agreement. Any questions on special ed services? Okay. Then moving on to curriculum and technology. The first item is to approve our participation in the Berks County EdTech Pool Council Consortium to share the consulting services. This is another annual approval, and there is no change in the rate from the prior year. Items 2 through 7 are annual agreements for our virtual academy for the software. So the first is with Imagine Learning, Edgenuity. Next is Imagine Learning Purpose Prep, Imagine Learning Edgenuity again. The next is with Accelerate Education Incorporated, and that's 5, 6, and then 7 is with Centervention. And then the next item is to approve an agreement for PIM submission support for next school year. We previously had a contracted full service for this, but we are going to try to bring more of those services back in-house. So we were able to get them to do instead of a set number of hours on an as-needed basis going forward. 9 is to approve a buyback proposal with Cortec Enterprises for purchase of the retired technology assets. 10 is to approve a 3-year agreement with Nimble to provide bundled content filter, cloud subscription services, and classroom management support from iBoss. Item 11 is to approve an agreement with IU13 contract for server co-location beginning at July 1. And then item 12 is to approve an agreement with BCIU for premium support services for Infinite Campus beginning July 1. Are there any questions on this section? Okay. Then moving on to facilities and maintenance. First item is to approve the proposal from Alarm Tech Suppression to inspect the kitchen hood suppression systems and fire extinguishers for the 26-27 school year at no cost increase from the prior year. Item 2 is to approve the 2026 service agreement with Reading Bearing and Drive Solutions for the annual inspection and preventative maintenance of emergency standby generators located at each building. It's a slight increase of $135 from our current year. Next is to approve the annual service agreement with K&D Factory Service for food service equipment. It's an increase of 50 cents per hour for overtime, holiday, or weekend hours. Next is to approve the 2-year contract with True Green to provide field maintenance services per the specifications. It's no change from current year. Next is to approve the 3-year agreement with Hemmer Turfgrass at an annual cost of $10,560 to perform field maintenance, winterization, and charge the irrigation system. Next is to approve the 26-27 renewal contracts with masterlibrary.com for software services supporting athletics and facilities, with both increasing less than $100 for each contract. Next is to approve the agreement with Evans Mechanical for annual boiler and hot water heater maintenance. It's a $200 increase from prior year. Item 8 is to ratify a proposal from Ronnie C. Vogt Paving to repair the asphalt at this building at the tennis courts for a total cost of $2,540. And this is due to the water main break earlier this year to fix that pavement. Item 9, to ratify a proposal from Ronnie Folk Paving for paving work associated with extending the lower parking lot near the basketball court area at this building as well. Item 10 is to ratify an estimate from Kraus Construction to repair the exterior staircase at this building. Item 11, to approve an agreement with Bartlett Masonry for stormwater inlet repair work at this building. Item 12, to approve an agreement with Bartlett Masonry for repair of the brick wall surrounding equipment near the loading dock at the high school. Item 13 is to approve the proposal from New Holland Chain Link to replace the damaged fence along the creek at this building. Item 14, to approve the 36-month elevator maintenance and service agreements with TK Elevator for their preventive maintenance, repair, testing, and service. Item 15, to approve the proposal from Brenneman Company to repair the cracks at the high school tennis courts at a cost of $7,100, and the cracks at this building and the tennis courts for $850. And then item 16 is to approve the proposal from Kuzan's True Value for a storage shed at the high school to be placed where the old oil tank was removed at a cost of $18,350. Are there any questions on the facilities items?
I got a question on number 8. Do we have insurance that covers any of that? Or doesn't it work that way?
We do.
The deductible would have been more than what the total cost of the repair was.
We did evaluate that.
Mhm.
Okay,
and decided it was better just to look at the cost.
understood.
Yeah.
Number 13, what happened to our chain link fence?
So that is down here at the that's down here at the intermediate school playground. And that fence runs along the creek, and the creek is starting to erode into the bank a little bit. But that is one of the concerns. It's actually more of a minor concern. The bigger one is that there's a big gap in the fence that is ripped for something. We're not sure what quite happened. It may have been a deer that got into it, or it might have been something else that ripped into it. But it's not like it was damage done because it was intentional. Something, a tree caught it or something.
Surveillance on like our fields and fences? Or
We
is it-
do. I don't know if it would reach down that far because it's right on the wood line, way at the bottom.
Is there a shot with Sasquatch, or that's not what we ruled that out?
I think we ruled that out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just know there's.
Might have been
Few
a tree that
sightings.
fell though.
I have a couple of follow-up questions on that number 8 and 9, so those paving, minor paving projects. Competing bids, did we get competing bids?
I don't think we did on those because they were under the threshold.
Okay.
And it's been approved.
Yeah, because it's the quotes are required for 13.2
Okay.
or 13.5.
Just, I'm not thrilled to say this out loud, but historically, in my experience, bulk paving is one of the highest priced in the market.
So I know these are low ticket items and maybe it's just path of least resistance, get it done, but I'd be surprised if they're the lowest. I think we could probably do much better. It might make sense just to validate that. So I don't know the urgency, if you can wait a month to do a little more competitive shopping around.
Last summer, we had repairs at the business off the parking lot where we had taken the oil tank. And we had competitive bids, 3 bids, and Holt was the cheapest, actually. It was 3, and they made those repair stores last summer.
Okay, maybe they compete more aggressively for municipal projects, but I know residential, they're pricey. So that's good enough for me. If you've done that research in the past and they've taken good care of
They
you.
did the repair last summer, and they were the cheapest.
Great, thank you,
And they
Dean.
did a great job too.
Good, excellent, thank you.
Yep.
And then number 16, could we just have some additional information about the new storage shed for 18 grand?
Yes, this is something that has been kicked around for over a year now. We've been talking with the construction committee about this. We actually tabled it in lieu of trying to put in more permanent structure in, knowing that's going to take a lot of effort in terms of cost and engineering and things like that, and is more timely of a process. This will buy us, if you're familiar with the back end of the high school, where the dumpsters are, and there's that big wall that separates to go into the back athletic entrance we've talked about. There was a big oil tank there, and so that was removed. This shed would go in there, so it's kind of a dead space already. The thought process is to match it aesthetically with the other shed, that pole barn that's out there. This shed would then be storage for a lot of the track equipment, and whether it's track equipment or it's items that are currently in the storage shed that would get flip flopped, it's more of a, I'll call it an intermediary to provide some immediate support and relief for the storage that we need right now. The long-term goal is to the land that was purchased here is to make that maintenance shed and get all the maintenance stuff out, and then we can open up that space. But right now we need to get some of this stuff under cover. We don't lose the value of it.
And that's in this current year's budget or in next year's budget? The 18 grand.
The goal is to catch this year.
Okay.
Is it 25-26? It has to be by June.
And do we have enough visibility into the expenditures year to date? Because we're coming up close to June 30. Last year, correct me if I'm misspeaking, but my understanding is we sort of overspent a little bit. Last year, expenditures versus revenues. Are we sure that we've got wiggle room here for the last couple of weeks of the school year and the budget year to be able to absorb some of these little things? Because a bunch of little things adds up to real money, right?
Right.
Yes, yes.
You feel confident we're in a good position?
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you.
Any other questions on the facilities? Okay, then, item H is to approve the list of unneeded, unnecessary equipment and authorize administration to recycle, sell, or dispose of the items. Item I is to approve a BCTC school nutrition program, SMP agreement between SMP sponsors with shared students to share demographic information for the 26-27 school year. Just allows BCTC, if our students participate in their meal programs, to claim them. Item J is to approve a 4-year agreement with Substitute Teacher Service, STS, to provide sub-teachers based on the following schedule. The rates are remaining the same and our markup actually decreased slightly. So that's a good thing. Item K is to approve the agreement with Long Swamp Learning Center to operate before and after school childcare at the elementary school for the next school year. Item L, approve a memorandum of understanding between Kutztown University and Brandywine to allow the placement of one KU grad intern for special education at a cost to the district not to exceed $25,400. Item M is to approve an agreement to continue our partnership with U.S. Security Care to provide armed security personnel as set forth in the specs attached. Item N is to approve the eye care benefits plan renewal through PSEA Health and Welfare Fund from July 1 through June 30 of 2028. There's no change from the prior 2-year agreement. Item O is to authorize the business manager to release disbursements for expenditures from the 25-26 school year, normally held until board approval from June 8th to August 10th, with ratification at the August 10th board meeting. Item P is to authorize the business manager to pay bills as necessary during the 26-27 fiscal year in accordance with school policy 616. Item Q is to authorize the business manager to make 25-26 budget transfers after June 30, 26. Item R is to approve the annual subscription rates from Central Susquehanna Intermediate Unit for the use of their financial information system. Item S is to approve a bundle agreement with Frontline Technologies related to professional learning management, absence and time solution management, recruiting and hiring management, and employee evaluation management at a cost of $39,000. It's a 3.5% increase. Item T, to approve agreement with TransFinder related to Route Finder Pro license and the satellite imagery service and annual hosting service, which is no change from the prior year cost. Item U, to approve the 26-27 rates for BCIU's e-tax track software and services. Item V is to appoint Berks County Tax Claim Bureau as the district's 26-27 delinquent real estate tax collector for a commission of 5% of collections. Item W is to appoint the tax collectors for each municipality as the delinquent per capita tax collectors for a fee of $1.65 per bill, plus a commission of 5% of collections. Item X is to approve the business insurance package and workers' compensation proposal from Arthur J. Gallagher and Company for the 26-27 fiscal year. It's a $11,500 increase from the prior year, but it is not as much as what they had originally budgeted. So. Item Y is to approve the joint food service fund bid awards with CAFCO for the 26-27 school year as presented. Item Z is to approve the 26-27 school breakfast and lunch meal prices. There's no change from the 25-26 prices except for adult lunches, which is required by the formula that we are required to complete. Item AA is to approve the 26-27 food service budget in the amount of $997,903. And item BB is to approve an agreement with Mile 2 Consulting to provide consulting services regarding the school-based access program at a cost of $2,500. Any questions?
Letter R, it says the estimate cost.
Yes, because they will take our final numbers from the state and use that. It's based on a flat fee plus a dollar amount per student.
Okay. And letter Z, do we give up breakfast next year? Like, I thought that was a law now. Like, is that free?
So, good.
I was gonna say, it is. This is just if they would like second breakfast, it's the, then you get one breakfast free, the rest you have to
Okay.
pay per day.
It's annually approved with the budget at the state level. So if for some reason they would not approve that as part of the budget process, then this would kick in.
Okay.
2 questions, Mrs. Detweiler. Thank you. This is a great long list. You've been busy. Item L, approve MOU between us and Kutztown University for the graduate intern in special ed. So that cost of $24,500, I feel like I remember that number being like 15 grand in the past. Am I misremembering?
No, you actually are spot on. That 15,000 was for the reading specialist interns.
Okay.
So Kutztown is adding areas where they're offering interns. And the reading specialist internships have been about 15,000. And that number has stayed pretty static through the life of that. The special education one is a new one. We actually signed a letter of intent, I want to say back in February or March, for Kutztown to apply for a grant. Which they've earned the grant, so that cost will be closer to about 20,000 for the school district. But recognizing that there's some additional coursework that goes into special education preparation, that's why this internship is slightly more than the reading specialist interns. We are excited to announce that just this morning we received notification from KU that they've gone through their application process. There is a candidate who currently works in our school in some of our low incidence classrooms and also as a building sub who was interested in being that intern for the school district. So Dr. Kircher and myself spoke with KU this morning. We will be moving forward with that individual, and that person will then be able to provide special education services across the K-12 continuum at that rate. So yes, it is a slightly higher rate than the reading intern, but it is a different program.
Thank you so much for clarifying.
Likewise, do you want to touch on Superintendent N, which is the social worker?
Sure. And then later when we get to the superintendent report, there will be another KU agreement where we will be having a social work intern in the schools for next year to assist Mrs. Menino. This is that, not the exact amount because the reading specialist is 15,500. This one is 15,000. So 3 different rates, but that one is to provide a similar service where we can have additional social work services throughout the entire school year. I believe it comes out to about 270 hours throughout the year. We'll be able to provide that service to our students and community through KU. So KU had run this social work internship program a number of years ago, but we're not able to continue it. But they're excited to bring that back, and we're fortunate enough to have a candidate for that as well. So when you get to Superintendent A, I think it is, or B, N, sorry, you can be surprised, and that's that one. So thank you.
Thanks so much.
Absolutely.
Appreciate the clarity. And then item M, is this our Mr. Our security guy?
Yes.
Tony. Mr. Tony, thank you. What's his last name? Curcio. All I could think of was Casio, and I knew that wasn't quite right. Okay. So this is to continue to fund Mr. Tony.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And that's grant funded. It's a 2-year grant that comes through from the state. So assuming those dollars continue to flow through, it supports that.
And pricing wise, it's no change?
It was $3 and
It is a 3% increase over 2 years. That gets applied.
Sure. So the first 2 years of the contract, 24-25 and 25-26, we saw no increase. So the rate stayed the same. It was about 44-41, I believe, an hour. And then for the next 2 years of the contract, we are seeing that $3 increase of 47-41. So over the 4 years that we'll have this contract, it's basically a yearly increase of about 1.6%.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, could I get a roll call on all the above?
Mr. Honschel,
Yes.
Mrs. Hune,
Yes.
Mr. Reitenauer,
Yes.
Mr. Sheets,
Yes.
Mr. Stuvitz,
Yes.
Mrs. Walliser,
Yes.
Mrs. Eisenhart,
Yes.
Mrs. Herzog,
Yes.
Mr. Wagman.
Yes.
9 yeas. Motion carries.
Okay, moving on to CC.
So, item CC is to approve the 26-27 general fund final budget adoption and tax items. The first item is to approve the final budget totaling $37,827,022. The second item is for the tax resolutions, which were, are they all in the packet? Is this where we want to have a discussion or?
Yeah, go through them and then I'll.
Okay, all right. The tax resolutions for real estate tax, the PIT, the LST, all of the above. The item 3 is to adopt the 26-27 homestead and farmstead exclusion resolution. Item 4 is just a reminder that back in 2012, the board approved a resolution providing an option for installment payments. And then item 5, the board authorizes the business manager or designee to assign fund balance as needed to balance the net revenue and expenses in the 25-26 fiscal year.
If you can look in your packets that you have in front of you, you should have a document that looks like this. It's a one pager. It has a yellow stripe through stripe through it. I'll ask Mrs. Detweiler to explain this. This is her document to it together. But essentially, what it is it outlines the total amount of deficit that we currently have without a tax increase. There's been some conversation on the board about do we use some of the PlanCon money reimbursement that's coming back into the school district that already hit as revenue for 25-26? Do we use some of that from the fund balance to be able to balance out some more of the budget? So I'll allow you to explain, Tracy, a little bit more.
Okay, sure. This document shows what the value of a mill is currently on our current 25-26 millage. So our deficit amount without the tax increase is $929,319. First line that's highlighted is what we had previously approved with the proposed final budget adoption back in May, which was a 2.5% increase, which would be 0.9245 mils. So using that, our fund balance usage would be $387,091. So that column remains the same down through the different options. First column has what the different lower tax increases would be, what their millage works out to be, and then the dollar increase. So it shows the additional fund balance use needed. And then our total fund balance that we would use to balance the 26-27 budget. Because the $330,000 that we received this year for previous year's PlanCon reimbursement would end up getting rolled into fund balance once the audit is complete and we know the variance between the expenses and the revenues at that point. So any reduction in the tax rate would then require us to use additional fund balance.
Which is where the 337.98 will be going at the end of this fiscal year.
Correct. Once everything all works itself out after the audit.
So is that something we should vote on separately?
I think the conversation is right now what's in the budget, what we presented at the proposed final in May was a 2.5% increase.
Yes.
There was conversation of do we want to use any of those dollars that are coming in from PlanCon to be able to offset some of this impact of the 2.5 and lower that. And so what we wanted to do is present to you a chart to show you what does it look like if we reduce that tax increase to 2.25%. Well, if you go all the way to, not all the way to the right, but the one right before the right, you'd have to use $54,223 additional of the fund balance to be able to cover that. If you used and reduced it 0.5%, that would be $108,446 that we'd be using additional for fund balance from that PlanCon money, essentially,
yes,
to help buffer. And I think the big piece to understand is just right now, we have the deficit of $387,000 already planned to use fund balance. We kind of talked through that, how those funds were going to be used. We were going to use some of the PSERs, we were going to use some of the health care offset, and then $100,000 always gets tagged in there as just like what if emergency dollars that we never planned to really use, but they're just there in case. So anything we add in addition, we just have to keep in mind, like I would be hesitant to go the full amount, $325,000, because if we go the full amount and say, okay, no, only a 1% tax increase, we're going to have to come up with that deficit next year. It's only one-time dollars. And so when we turn the calendar over, we're going to be in a deep hole to start the calendar year. So that's my cautionary tale to you, is just, I think there's if we want to do this, there's probably some compromise and we can find something in between there, but I'd be very hesitant to say use the whole amount because we're going to be in big trouble next year if we do that.
I personally have concerns by doing it because when we just investigated the policy for doing reassessment for tax dollars, and once they go back, we don't get them. So next year, we're gonna be starting in an even larger hole than we were this year. Because so many of mandates that come down, unknowns, that are unfunded, I just don't, I have concerns about doing so.
Can you tell us, Mrs. Detweiler, what is the current balance or projected, maybe by the end of this year, of the total fund balance?
That I do not have handy right now, but I can get that to you. I know it's not gonna help with this conversation.
Well, I'm just trying to get perspective of like the 387,000 that we're pulling out to balance the budget at 2.5% tax increase versus if we dropped it to 1.5%, we'd have to pull out 600,000. How much are we denting that savings account, if you will, that general fund balance? Don't we have millions of dollars in that account?
We do. I'm pulling up this presentation. Isn't it?
So I agree, like the less we tax, the less it compounds, right? No question about that. I just feel that we did not plan on this reimbursement from PlanCon. And it's sort of a windfall from several years ago. We didn't need to budget for it. We didn't think we were ever going to get it. And all of a sudden it's like an inheritance, like, wow, somebody gifted us this money, totally unexpected. I think it might be sage to consider giving some portion of that windfall sort of back to the taxpayers who helped us fund everything in the past couple of years when we didn't have this money. And also at the same time, taking some to plug future holes that we absolutely are anticipating. So that would be my recommendation. We kind of only found out about this windfall within the past 30 days or so, right? I mean, it's new news. So it's not like we planned this knowing all along that we were going to get this money and take it into our pocketbook, but it's sort of like new news. It's great news. It's a gift. What if we split it with the taxpayers and said, 150 goes to the taxpayers and 150 or 75 or whatever the math is, goes into next year's budget. I don't know how the rest of my colleagues feel, but I sort of morally feel bad taking all this windfall money and planning to fund things next year when on the taxpayers' back.
Liz, what is just philosophically the difference between that 300,000 versus the 40,000 signing bonus we're receiving for the cell phone tower? I mean, there's many times throughout the year that we get, if you want to call it windfall, via grants, via signing bonus for a cell phone tower that we stock away for a rainy day and don't credit back to the taxpayer. So I guess my question is, what is the difference? Where are you seeing this versus that as far as?
Yeah, fair question. So that signing bonus certainly wasn't on anybody's radar, but revenue on a regular basis, because we allowed them to implant a cell tower years ago, we know that there's recurring revenue there and we factor that in, and that's part of what we planned for. I feel like this PlanCon money 3 years ago, if it had come, then we would have used it to do the construction projects. It would have been spent as part of that. We went ahead with all of our expenditures, assuming this money was never coming. And all of a sudden, 3 years later, whatever it is, it's like here as literally like a windfall or an inheritance. So to me, it does feel way more surprising and more like a gift than if we came up with an idea for revenue generation. Like if we put a program in place, you know, I keep harping on this, we could get free money if we would just research a corporate credit card and start paying some of these miscellaneous bills on a corporate credit card that gives back 1 to 2% cash back.
We are working on that.
Yeah, yeah. And that's free money. That's spending we're doing anyway. We'd get a kickback. That's free money. But that's a program or an idea that we put in place and expect it to return revenue to us. This feels different to me because it's like a gift from the government that we absolutely didn't anticipate. And we didn't ask for it. Unlike, you know, all the good grant work we're getting, we're working really hard to chase grants. We're doing the hard work. We're winning some grant money, and we have that grant money earmarked for a certain purpose if we happen to be so successful at winning the grant money. In this case, it's like 330 grand show up on our doorstep, and we pulled money out of our savings account to fund that. But that savings account got there because taxpayers put it there.
Well, technically, it should have been filed 4 years ago by when the debt service payments were actually made. So it was just something that, from what I've seen, that was missed. And then the state actually reached out to us and said, hey, you have this money sitting there that you should have applied for. Just do it. So that's what it.
We need more like that.
Yeah.
Tracy, what is, this might be a hard number, to say the 300, whatever the 350 number is, what is the household ramification of that? If we said, split that difference and gave 150,000 of that back, what is that a ramification for a household? Are we talking?
That in the budget presentation.
It's probably very minimal, Mike. I think if that's the point you're headed towards, it's probably not going to impact anybody's pocketbooks. To me, it's more of a, well, it will impact pocketbooks, but it's not going to make or break somebody's year financially. But to me, it's more of a fairness thing. Like, it's morally, you know, we got gifted 300 grand, and yet we're still going to tax at the same rate before we knew we were getting that 300 grand. So it just feels wrong to me not to at least split it with the, or give some piece of it back to the community who has been so generous funding this entire operation.
I would like to say something. I was viewing this, and my thought process and understanding this document is we were at 2% last year. And if we can stay at 2%, that would be a public perception that, you know, we're maintaining. And that takes 108 out of the 330. That still leaves us 222, give or take a few dollars. That's going to go into the general fund. That's where my mind was leading after Liz made the comment in our meeting, not to use it all, but I think a public perception to say, okay, you know, the school, we're keeping it at 2%. We're still have 222 estimated in the general fund. That's something, that's how I looked at it, not splitting it, because I realize you don't know what's going to come down, you know, down the line. But I think this way, the constituents will see, oh, well, it didn't go up. So we're using only about 108, you know, according to this report, and we're still going to have 222,000 whatever, but we'll go into the general fund that we didn't anticipate. That's how I'm looking at it. I think that might settle Liz's concerns, you know, and the fact that we're still going to have over $200,000 that's going to go into the general fund that we didn't really realize we were going to get. That would be a suggestion of mine, not to use any more of that, but to say, okay, we're keeping it the same rate. Well, maybe other school districts are upping it. Well, we have the ability to say to the public, to our constituents, hey, we're keeping it the same. And we're only going to use 108 out of it, and I'm still having 222 left. I don't know how that holds with everybody. It's kind of a simplistic way for me to look at it, being somebody new on the board, but I think that might be something to think about. Because
we would still be spending from the.
Well, yeah,
I
you're
would
still going to
say
be spending what we budgeted, the 387
But
from the
because
different
it's
funds.
495,000 of what we're going to be taking from the general
Right,
fund.
between the 387 that we already technically reviewed, we're gonna add another 108 to it.
So this is the number we're actually going to be dropping our general fund down by.
Right, but
$500,000.
but the 108 is coming from that 330 that we didn't have before. We wouldn't be having this conversation with the Plan Con money. If I'm understanding this correctly. So that was my only,
And if we
Got
leave it the way it was, the initial was, we're still having to take 87,000, almost 100,000 out of our general fund.
right, which is what was planned in the first place before we received this money.
Yeah, I'm saying with 300, getting 300 in, your net loss is 87,000 that we're still having to spend out of our general fund.
But you have that's just a thought, food for thought.
No, I'm
I
just trying
think
to wrap my
that-
head around.
Right, I mean, because we already know, without ever knowing we were gonna receive this Plan Con money, and it didn't come until September, that we were gonna take $387,000 out between the different fund balances to balance our budget. But here, not to use it all, I would never recommend that, but I'm thinking, okay, maybe we should keep it at 2. We use 108 of it, and we still have 222,000 plus odd dollars to go into the general fund that we didn't have before. I don't know how everybody else feels, but that's how I was looking at it.
Yeah, and then my primary concern really is just gonna be like energy costs and rising costs. Like that's gonna be something that's going to be affecting us through the remainder of the summer. It's gonna be affecting us into the fall. So, I mean, it's all great. My other thing is also just like, as always, I've got problems with semantics. The state isn't giving us anything. This isn't a windfall. This is money that the state budgeted for projects like this that we qualify for, that the taxpayers have just paid for in a different way. This isn't a gift. This is literally the state doing their job, which admittedly is something that's kind of random and doesn't typically happen. However, like that's kind of where it's at. But I think my job is to just, be the naysayer, right? It's to be a devil's advocate on these things. Everybody wants it to stay lower, right? In my experience, unless you make it 0, they're gonna still say that you're raising their taxes because you are, right? I do like your logic though, that it's 2%. It's the same as it was last year. Yeah, but again, my position is going to be, to say like, hey, there's always these unforeseen expenses. It is one of those things, you don't use one-time money to fund, continuing operations, and you don't use it to fund, paying your electric bill and paying your car payment and paying your that kind of stuff. You don't use your savings for that. You use your actual income for that. And I mean, I don't think we're at a stage of the game where we really have to be worried about becoming like a Kutztown or something, where we want to be fund dad for so long that we, burn through every penny we have. But again, the other side of the coin is that's my job as I perceive it as the treasurer, is to make sure that like I'm trying to make sure that stuff's there for a rainy day. So I mean, it's really up to the assembled body on what everybody wants to do. But my thing is gonna be like, like I said, it's we put that money into savings, we use that, and we continue the path forward because this was something that was recommended by by our administrators. If they feel that it's amenable to go a separate way or a different way, they're gonna have the knowledge base to really make that recommendation, which then essentially just drops it on Tracy and Andrew. You're welcome.
And I think, Darlene, to your point, if you want to find a compromise, I would find something around 2. If you want to go slightly under a 2 and do like a 195, just to get under that threshold of what it sounds like, you could do that. It's going to be a tiny little bit more. I think Tracy's running those numbers right now just to put something there, but you can do something like that and just get it under that 2 threshold and do 195. It's going to be $100,000 lower again, just over 100,000, 115,000, to get us to a point where, again, if you want to find compromise, we'll be starting the year essentially. To Mike's point, you'll be at more 400,000 that we're going to be taking from the fund balance, but from where we were and considering this, we'll be $100,000 more in the hole. But it's much better than 300, right? And we can navigate that. And I'd rather navigate that than try to take the whole thing. So if you guys want to do a compromise, we can work through that.
my opinion is healthcare is outrageous, which we already know. Groceries, when you go there every week or every other week, that's outrageous. Gas, I hate going there twice a week, but I gotta pay that, and that's not cheap, I can tell you that, especially when I personally drive 45 minutes to work. Electric, the whole state's going up. I know Med Ed's going up 5%, just Google it, it's coming. And I also know our poverty level is in the 30%. And if we have kids, which most of us do, if you pay for childcare, that's very expensive. So I know I'm not using like specific numbers, but everything's going up. So I feel like any way we can help our constituents, I would gladly compromise at 2%. I feel a lot better.
My only pushback on that is so are all the district costs. So everything you just mentioned, fuel, food, electric, healthcare, right?
We all
So-
specific, except,
Yeah.
except for our legal counsel. So.
Yes.
that is changed, and I do want to point that out,
Savings.
that is very, very, good district partner, so thank you for that.
Whatever you do, don't let them set a paralegal.
I was gonna say.
That went out.
Still cheaper,
That
so.
We can just not
Don't
We've
threaten them
tried
with
that.
good time.
Oh, darn.
All right, where do we want to go?
So Darlene, sorry, she's talking.
So I don't know how,
I
Rest
love
of
your
the board
suggestion. I
feels.
think it's a great suggestion. If we take that 180, it brings the tax increase to 2% flat year over year. I think that's a really powerful message, Matt, to your point, to the community. It also means, to everyone's acknowledgement, that next year we need to tighten our belts. We're gonna be starting at a little bit of less than perhaps we had thought about a week or two ago. And we need to continue to think of some cool and fun ways to generate revenue. So I don't think we need to go further below, Mr. Pottinger, like 199 or 195. I think it's easy to argue. I would like to know what that total number is. So we're putting less in the savings account, but I'd love to know what is the fund balance, because there's millions and millions of dollars in that account. So it's not like we're bleeding ourselves dry. We've
No.
got a good cushion, and as we anticipate over the next 7-8 years of debt service diminishing, there should be, now that we've done all these facility projects and we're in pretty good shape, there should be some cash freed up in the future once we're through that debt service. I mean, at some point, before we did all this, we were supposed to be debt-free in 2030. That's only 4 years away. I know we extended that, but it's not like we extended it 20 more years.
Yeah, 2030. Yeah, I think that's what it
Yeah,
is.
like 2033, 2034.
My devil's advocate is still 2.5 looks much better this year than 3.5 next year. And that's just as possible.
It is.
And I mean,
So we've got 11.6 million. Total. Assigned fund balance, 6.4, committed fund balance, 2.2. Yeah, so there's plenty of money in the savings account.
I don't know if it's
For
necessarily
more than
saying
a
that,
rainy
that's like 4 months.
I was gonna say that's-
It's like 4 months worth of operations. I wouldn't necessarily call it, it's a big number compared to, I'm assuming what most of us have in our checkbook. If you guys have that kind of money in your checkbook, great job. But like it is one of those things that way it really does it only really covers 4 months ish worth of stuff. And that's if we go in and actually move stuff out of committed fund balance, and like kind of have to move things around. Because most of that money that's in there, the $2.2 million, that's unassigned fund balance. So that's the money, that's our slush fund that we can use for everything. The other stuff is all committed and assigned to different things, so.
Just looking at the budget presentation from May, it looks like there is just over $2 million sitting in for committed, and assigned there's 6.2 million. So you have 8 million.
Plus the unassigned fund balance.
Correct.
So
But the the concern is don't fall into the trap. And that's the thing that you're saying, don't fall into the trap of, oh, we've got all this money, so we can just borrow against ourselves all the time, because we've used that fund balance to help forward projects that we paid for a brand new wood shop that we're gonna get to in August. Out of that savings, right? And there's other districts that are around us that do not have that fund balance anymore, that are depleted completely. So it's the cautionary tale that we just have to, we've been very good fiscal stewards, and I just want to remain that way.
Yeah, and I mean,
Put us in the back.
the other side of the coin though too is when you and I first started, like we had significantly more fund balance. Like that was one of the big things that Ken Hefner and his team was trying to do, was trying to draw all that down, because the business manager that we had such an outrageous amount of money squirreled away that was part of the reason why we wanted that we did the school board policy regarding what percentage of our money we're allowed to have set aside. Was to prevent, just out of control savings, or squirreling or hoarding or however you want to word it. It was to prevent that, So I think there are checks and balances in place to make sure that we don't go crazy, just taxing just in case. But I do also think that, like, in the way the world is right now, it is one of those things where, I agree with Mr. Wagaman. I mean, we don't want to do 1.9 this year and then do 4 next year, because that's going to be that'll be just as much losing face as if people perceive that 2.5 is too much this year. So going back to what you said though, it is one of those things where, as a board, if we're taking this course of action, we got to be committed to, like, we're going to be making hard decisions in this next year of what programs to get rid of, what things we can't do, how big classes need to be, and as much as we want to keep class sizes low, and as much as we want to make sure that everybody has access to every program that they want to do, if we're saying, hey, we got to start drawing down, well, then we need to start shuttering programs, and we need to start getting rid of things.
So looking at the numbers here, if we drop this down by 50%, it will impact the annual household by $20. So that's what the taxpayers would be getting back, $20 for the year.
I mean, that's like a quarter tank of gas.
Yeah, if you have Speedway points.
And then those that
Wow.
can will fund Friends of Brandywine. That $20 they saved in their pockets, I'll go to your horse race night or whatever.
So how do we want to do this?
Could you suppose all 3 buildings and everything was virtual, we would save a fortune. I'm not gonna open that back worms, but
Yeah, I was just gonna say I've been here for that. I don't want to do that again.
Dr. Handler told us about a school district down in Bucks County that actually doesn't have any schools. They just pay the tuition rate to the neighboring schools, and they just send their kids out. Yeah, so
Very small schools.
there's a bunch of very kind of options that I have a feeling would lead to pitchfork and torch wielding mob in this neighborhood. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting things they do.
So do we want to take a straw poll? I mean, is that?
Ask for a motion. Someone make a motion. Whatever you want to make.
So what was
Well,
the?
all right.
Okay, we need to know the number that we're talking.
I'll move to adjust the additional fund use balance needed to Darlene's suggestion of 108,446. So that we would lower what we're asking from the community by 108,446. And then the 222,000 of this 330 that we got from Plantron will go into the general fund to begin to set us up for next year.
So the motion that we have is
To modify the budget.
the motion that's currently on the table, because we approved we had a motion and a second for the business and operations. The budget is a separate voting item on that portion. So the motion that is on the table is to approve as presented here. So we would have to, if we're going to change that, we're going to have a revised motion.
Give me 1 second.
Or vote on this and then.
Well, I could just adjust my motion, but we need to figure out, because the business. All right, so we need, hold on one second.
You're just the dollar amount for the final budget remains the same.
Yeah, but the in this CC, it's all of the,
We'll
it's all
adjust.
of the actual forms.
Right, we'll
So-
adjust that on the back end once you guys tell us what percentage.
Okay,
And then
so,
submit that to the state, okay?
so Tracy, 1.9, is that what we're looking at?
No, we're looking
Well,
at
I'm
2.
2.0.
2.0.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're looking at 2.0.
Yes.
All right, so then, Mr. Pratt, if I were to amend if I was to amend my motion to be that the budget, the proposed final budget
2.0%.
will reflect that 2.0%, that would be,
If someone seconds it.
okay. So then my second would have to second it.
Yeah,
Correct. So then I would make the motion that our 2026, 2027 general fund final budget adoption increase be amended to 2%.
You're not second, you're just.
Agreed.
No,
Yes.
Yeah, he's
Okay,
agreeing,
yes.
he's agreeing, he's agreeing with the modification.
Mr. Pratt, that's legal? Roger that.
So then could we get a roll call on the CC portion of this with a modified tax percentage of 2%?
Mr. Sheets,
Yes.
Mr. Stubitz,
Yes.
Mrs. Walliser,
Yes.
Mrs. Eisenhart,
Yes.
Mrs. Herzog,
Yes.
Mr. Hartsholt,
Yes.
Mrs. Hune,
Yes.
Mr. Reitenour,
Yes.
Mr. Wagman,
No.
8 yeas, 1 nay. Motion carries.
I'd just like to thank everybody for the entire process. The budget is one of those things where it's kind of dry and it's not really the funnest thing. And it has the tendency to kind of create a little bit of friction between board members. However, I am very proud of everyone in this room because despite what is currently happening in this world, at least we are able to demonstrate that compromise is a possibility. And that, even if you disagree with things, you're still able to do it in a very simple way. And I appreciate everybody in this room. So thank you all very much for this process.
Thank you, Mr. Sheets, and thank you for your hard work throughout the budget process.
Oh, no, it was all Tracy.
Well, and I was going to chime in and thank Tracy coming into the sort of situation you came in the state of the preparedness or unpreparedness that we gave you. Thank you so much for stepping up. Great job. Yeah.
And thank you to my business office staff for all that. During my transition. So, thank you.
All right, moving on steadily. Superintendent's report. Can I get a motion in a second?
Motion to
My
approve.
pen died too. It's all good. I've taken enough notes.
Do you have to read everything?
All right, and your goals report, there is a document in your packet. It has an executive summary. It has all the information for the end of year goals reports. I'm not going to go through everything, but I just want to point out a couple things. We did the 3-year strategic planning process this year as one of our major initiatives led by Mr. Farina. That included a survey of 344 individuals, 50 stakeholders involved in 4 different groups. Academic excellence, school pride, safe and supportive learning environment, and organizational efficiency. Out of that, we came up with a 3-year plan, which will turn into a Gantt chart, which will now turn into our goals for the next 3 years. So huge process, huge undertaking. Thank you for all involved, particularly Mr. Farina for leading that. We also had a TSI, which is a special education plan led by Dr. Kircher this year as a state initiative. That spun into a secondary school improvement plan that we developed on our own and put heavy emphasis on, particularly Mr. Jinich, that focused on data analysis, student competency, engagement in the classroom with initiatives that lasted the entire year focused on those areas. We did a technology refresh this year, 530 new iPads, 215 new MacBooks, 1,300 Chromebooks. Originally, we were about 140,000 over budget. By the time we were all said and done, Carly brought us in at 115,000 under budget. So a huge accomplishment by her to navigate that process. New greenhouse and wood shop that we've talked about. And that was a big initiative this year from facilities perspective. New intermediate middle school principal, and that was a great intro for Mrs. Snyder. So welcome, Mrs. Snyder, and she has been doing an awesome job in her role. Birth to 5 program, we have 243 families connected now, 182 students that are now receiving 3 books, a free book a month up until age 5. Had a perfect, clean pre-K audit again this year. We celebrated our first graduation class, which is 70th anniversary throughout the course of the year, particularly at graduation. We have over $1 million in grants that Mr. Farina was able to secure this year, with what we approved tonight, with the potential of another $1.5 million coming in. We have over $150,000 of community partnerships that we sponsored and celebrated this evening. That does not include all our PTCs and sports boosters and music boosters and the great work that they do as well. We also have Community Connections, where we had our first annual Literacy Under the Lights, connecting our athletes with our young learners. Education Showcase had our largest attendance. High school stadium opening happened the beginning of this year. Kind of forget about that, but that happened. So huge year, a lot of things happening. Thank the administrative team. They had a heavy hand in this. They developed their goals off of these district goals in the Gantt chart. They're the ones that lead this. It involves obviously all of their support with the building staff, the teachers, and everyone involved in this. So huge thanks to everyone involved. Huge thanks to the board for leading the district, for providing that support and guidance as we navigated that. That is the end of my goals report. We have a couple items under. Thank you, and it was but a lot of positive things that we did move to transform the school district. Superintendent report. Just to kind of move through here, we have the acknowledgement of the safety report that occurred in the executive session prior to the meeting. We have the request to approve a foreign travel trip to Rome, Pompeii, and Sorrento in Italy. That would happen next year, November 18 to November 24, 2027. So when I say next year, like 2 years from now, that would be for about 40 participants, 6 chaperones. That overlaps parent-teacher conferences, and so that's why it was particularly decided to go at that time of year. We also have the special education targeted school improvement plan that I mentioned was a goal this past year. It is a continued goal this year. We missed it by like a hair of a couple points, and so Dr. Kircher has already started that process, heavily involved and focused in on cooperating teachers. One of the things we talked about with Tyler Kemp when we recognized him this evening, that's a big part of the TSI this year. We have a bunch of, we have the goals on here, acknowledge and approve the goals from 25-26 and year goals. We have a bunch of curriculums that are on here. So science, large animal science, forensic curriculum, chemistry, 8th grade personal finance, and textbooks. So if you want to do a quick high level, I know one of the requests has been is to include attachments that give a overview, and Mr. Freeman has tried to do that this evening.
Good evening again. So for our curriculum,
let's just do it quick.
Okay, I have to see all of them just so I make sure I hit them all. Thank you. Okay, so the first curriculum is 6th through 8 middle school. So working under the leadership of Mr. Donato, we have traditionally done 6th grade physical science, 7th grade life science, 8th grade earth and space science. But what we're seeing with the new PA Steel standards and what the new PSSA looks like is it would give the students a better experience if we spiral the curriculum so they have components of physical, life, and earth and space each year. So it's more of an integrated model. So the middle school science team this year worked on looking at all 3 of those curriculum and then basically piecemealing them so what's existing will occur integrated throughout the 3 years as opposed to in isolation. This was a tremendous lift on their parts. They did an amazing job there. And it will ultimately be a 3-year rollout because our 6th graders and our 7th graders have already gotten physical and life. So in 26-27, 6th grade will be the only integrated course and 7th will get life and 8th will get physical. In 27, 28, 2 grades will have integrated, and then 28, 29, all 3 grades will have integrated. So that curriculum has been rewritten, and in the textbook BIS, there is a resource that we are utilizing from the vendor TCI. They actually gave us a completely free trial this year. So all of our middle school science was on a free trial of this curriculum for 25, 26. The teachers had very good experiences with it, so we're moving forward with them. And looking at large animal science, this is the next course in the agriculture program. So as we continue to complete that program and have all of the courses rolled out, large animal science is the next course offering that will occur next year. Forensics, we used to have a course called Science in the Community, which was a combination course of food science, forensics, and some life science that students took as a junior or senior. Now that we have food science as part of the ag program, that course, Science in Community, was a little bit of a double dip. So we were seeing less interest in that, but that forensics unit is still interesting. So Mrs. Miller, our chemistry teacher, taught forensics in a previous school district. So she created a forensics course, which will roll out for next year, which is a very exciting course. And then chemistry in the community. If you recall, 2 years ago, we split pre-calc into pre-calc and AP pre-calc because we noticed we had 2 different sets of students in that one course, and it was difficult to instruct. We're seeing the same thing with chemistry. We have some students who grasp the concepts of chemistry very easily and some students who are struggling. And it almost is a 50-50 divide. So we're offering a chemistry in the community course, which will be a more hands-on approach to teaching chemistry. So students who are coming in more comfortable with the content would go into that chemistry track. And then students who are identifying and struggling in that class would go more into that chemistry in the community track. And then next year, Mrs. Miller will be writing an AP chemistry course to replace the Chemistry 2 course. So that would be something that would go for approval for 27, 28. And lastly, this is an exciting one. The Commonwealth came out with new standards for career readiness and financial literacy. And we found the best way to attack that is to create a course in 8th grade, which would replace an existing course, which really looks at independent living skills, personal finance, but at a very high level. And this was a course that was written by Mr. Noggle and Mrs. Seidel, 2 of our teachers here at the middle school. And that course will basically take students on a real world exploration where they'll research a career, find out the education that goes into it, what they can expect to make in salary for that job, what their debt portfolio might be coming out of school for that job. And then they're going to learn about all of the pieces of financial literacy that go along with budgeting and insurance and all of those areas. And they're almost going to be playing the game of life through the course. So they're going to have their job and how much money they can make. And then they're going to get hit with things along the way, like their car dies, or, they might have a catastrophic loss at their home, a house fire or something like that. And they have to see if their insurance pieces or those other areas are there. So it's really an experiential way to look at career readiness and financial literacy. And it's an exciting course. And it's really the first time we've worked with outside agencies, if you were, to write a curriculum. So we worked with some business partners to talk through it. Mr. Walliser assisted us with this course as well on some of those insurance pieces. And it's a way to give our students in 8th grade a very authentic look at career and personal finance and financial literacy. So we're very excited for that one. And as Mr. Prodiger shared, there's also a BIS on there for textbooks. And mainly that's that 8th grade, or the 6th through 8th grade science books. We are looking at a new version of biology for our biology courses at the high school. And the remainder of our science courses, which were the big ones up for evaluation this year, the teachers are seeing a lot of success with them. So we are sticking with the existing resources that we have in courses like chemistry and physics. And it would just be, ordering new copies for ones that, may not be the best in circulation anymore. So I know I went through that very quickly, but if you have any questions, happy to answer. Thank you.
Item K is for to allow myself to make employment commitments that we would ratify at the August meeting, but it allows us, as we go through the interview processes, to extend a contract to someone instead of waiting until August and that person potentially leaving and taking another job. So it's a good safety net to secure employees. I appreciate you guys allowing that the last few years, and it really makes a difference. We have the acknowledgement of our 85 graduates that graduated last Tuesday. We have an affiliation agreement with a Western Governor University. This is new to us, but we were asked to support a student going through for student teaching. And then finally, it's the affiliation agreement with KU for the social intern that Mr. Green had spoke about earlier. With that being said, that is the end of the superintendent report.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments?
Just a quick question about the trip, so item B. So
Yes.
what course or what group of students is this supporting?
Mrs. Byler is coordinating this trip again, like she did with the Europe trip this past year. She has heavy interest in this from the students. It's connected through several things, obviously through the language arts component of that, as well as through our arts program. But it is Mrs. Charlotte Byler that is running that trip.
So is it like high school English students?
Yeah,
or
high school English
art
is what she
students or
teaches.
both?
It's both. Yeah,
Okay.
but it is open to all students.
Oh, it
It's-
is?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. And then, are we capping it at 40?
We are.
Okay,
Yeah.
because 50 some was a little much?
That was a lot. Yeah. That was a lot.
Okay, and that group of 40 students has kind of already been identified and signed up?
So there was a interest meeting that happened with the parents, and I was very clear to Mrs. Blyler that meeting was to be established as not putting anyone in a pigeonhole because the board had to consider this, but it was just to see what the interest was. And there was, shoot, she told me the other day, but there was over 20 families that have already expressed interest in signing up.
Okay.
Can we get a roll call, please?
Mrs. Hune,
Yes.
Mr. Reitenour,
Yes.
Mr. Sheets,
Yes.
Mr. Stuvitz,
Yes.
Mrs. Walliser,
Yeah.
Mrs. Eisenhart,
Yes.
Mrs. Herzog,
Yes.
Mr. Hohenschuld,
Yes.
Mr. Wagner. 9 yeas, motion carries.
Okay, personnel report. Can I get a motion and a second, please?
So move Sheets.
Second right now.
All right, couple items on superintendent report. We have a few resignations, most namely Mr. Freena, and I'd just like to take a moment and acknowledge Mr. Freena. He started here in the school district in 2015. He has been a tremendous leader. If he turns around and looks at a lot of his administrative colleagues, he's helped hire them, he's helped mentor them, he's helped grow them, he's helped build this team here in the school district, he's helped grow this intermediate middle school. He took over for a long time principal, which was hard shoes to fill, and has really revamped what this building looks like. In his role as a curriculum director, he helped to facilitate curriculum, got his feet start dabbling into grants, and in most recently his role as assistant superintendent has just been phenomenal. Has marked himself as a county leader, which is why he's been able to easily step into this new chapter in his life. But we would not be where we are today without his expertise, without his professionalism, without his friendship, without his conversations that he has all with all of you. It's his integrity, it's his knowledge, it's who he is as a person that shines through as a professional. And so he'll be tremendously missed. We have the beauty is we have a great depth of leaders that are able to step up, but nothing will be able to replace the person that Mr. Freena is. And while we all will miss him, we wish him the best of luck as he steps on into the next chapter in his life. So, Mr. Freena, congratulations on that.
Speech. Come on, Rob. Now it's your turn to give us here.
No, Mr. Prodiger, thank you for that. And thank you to everyone in this room and the entire community. I would not, be here without everyone's support. As you shared, Mr. Prodiger, just the professional relationships we have with the team, the support of this board and the support of the community has meant the world to me and my family. I've always been a firm believer of that phrase of you leave a place better than you found it. And I've strived to do that over the last 11 years here, and I hope I've lived up to that expectation. So once again, I just truly appreciate everyone's support. It is a wonderful team. This is a wonderful school district and a wonderful community. And I've been so fortunate and blessed to be a part of it. So thank you all again.
In recognition of your years of service, we don't have it yet, but the group here has decided to get you an 8x8 brick to memorialize your time spent and your contributions in the behind the high school there. And so we have to pick what we're going to put on it yet, but that will be.
I think you should go with rough draft. You have one.
That here lies our Farina, July. Very Tombstone answer.
Thank you.
We will come up with this.
Thank you. I'm truly humbled by that. Thank you very much. It's very much appreciated. Thank you.
So a couple other agenda items with Mr. Farina's resignation. We also have, I mentioned earlier, the depth of being able to help people grow here within the school district. So Dr. Kircher will shift over to the assistant to the superintendent role. Mr. Jinich will move from the high school principal to the director of people services. And then Mrs. Carly Knecht will take on the role of director of technology, data, and curriculum. So she'll oversee more of the curriculum, the department heads, a little bit different than what she's doing now. We have some professional staff moves here. You can see the chart here, but Mrs. Carrie Dearson will be moving from kindergarten to first grade. Lindsay Levingood will be shifting from halftime gifted and halftime STEM to full gifted, K to 8. Mr. Scott Harvey is a 6th grade ELA teacher, is going to go to high school English. Mr. Gene Kabilnik will move to 6th grade. Mrs. Amy Robach is going to move from 6th grade learning support to intervention specialist. Mrs. Terry Flam is going to move from emotional support to transition coordinator. And then Mr. Tyler Kemp is going to move from learning support to that emotional support classroom. So we survey all our staff, ask them if they're interested in a move or change. And so that allows us to then start to evaluate when there's retirees and try to fill what their professional aspirations are connected to where we see their potential being to help grow children within their roles. And so a lot of that has come from that. And then subsequently, you're going to see a lot of the changes here. So we do have an increase of our food service person up to 5.75. But then when you look at C1 professional appointments, we have Miss Garda, who's going to be replacing Miss Dearson in the kindergarten classroom. Mrs. Arena, who's going to be replacing Mrs. Snyder and her role in the intervention position. Miss Paloa, who's going to be the 8th grade learning support teacher. Mr. John Stevens, who is a learning support teacher for us already, student taught with us and learning support teacher. He's going to be 7th grade learning support. And then Mr. Eric Fenn, who is also a learning long-term sub for us, is going to be taking over a permanent position for math teacher at the high school. So there are a lot of moving parts there. Also, you'll see a host of under 2-4. Is that right? No, under 4 co-curriculars.
It's so much stuff.
Sorry, it's somewhere else. I'm sorry. It's under 9 at the back. All the mentor teachers associated to all those moves. Sorry about that. We have some support staff hires. We have Mrs. Lindsay Levingood to help support the Grab and Go summer meals, which starts this Thursday. Free summer meals for the week. That starts this Thursday. That's this Thursday.
Another job for Lindsay Levingood.
Yeah, Mrs. Nicole Smith is going to be the payroll compliance specialist. We're also recommending Mrs. Jamie Nace to be the administrative assistant to the business office. Mr. Mitch Cole is going to be the assistant to the athletic director. There was over 50 applicants for that, and it came down to a lot of opportunities. Mr. Cole has experience specifically as an assistant athletic director already in the Harrisburg area as a Christian school. So he brings a depth of experience and will be a phenomenal partner for Mr. Pinelli. We're excited for that. Mrs. Ashley Vieira is one of our high school students that worked as a part-time after-school custodian, and we're going to move her to full-time summer custodian for the summer. We have department heads listed there and the recommendation for department heads for this coming year. We also have the approval of an assistant JV basketball coach, Mr. James McAndrew, for this coming winter season. We do have several approvals for staff members that were particularly on medical leave. So there was number 2 that was connected to a child that had some significant challenges medically that person needed to take time off. Number 3 was an employee that had to take time off for a medical leave. And then number 4 is a maternity leave that's going to happen at the start of the school year, August 28th until October 9th. That'll be that maternity leave. That's at the high school. F1 is to approve additional days behind 189 contractual days. So that's what's in the teacher contract. This allows some of our back-end school psychologists and counselors to do additional time to support the operations of the building and the principals in those buildings to accomplish the goals and start the year off successfully. Item 2 is the big one. That is to approve the 26-27 salaries for the Act 93 administrators, the supervisory confidential staff members, and then all support staff members. So if you open that file up, it has every staff member and what their rates will be for the coming year. Item 3 is to approve my rating as distinguished, and I just want to take a moment and thank the board for that rating. That means a lot to me. The support that you've shown me throughout my tenure here, this is my 13th year, is tremendous, but particularly with this board, it is so rewarding to be able to work with such wonderful people, and to have that support allows us to do the great things we're able to do tonight. We talked about the end of year goals. We talked about the great things Rob's done in his role, but all that's because of your trust and support in the district and what we're doing, and your faith to continue that vision of where we're headed. So I thank you for that. It is a phenomenal opportunity to continue working here in the school district, and I appreciate all that support. Item 4 is to approve substitute rates, no changes. Item 5 is to approve starting rates, no changes. Item 6 is to approve the employee handbooks for the 26-27. There's 3 there: faculty handbook, supervision and evaluation handbook, and then support staff and supervisor confidential handbooks. We have we're asking a ratification for a stipend as a mentor for Mrs. Lambert to support a staff member as we were trying to help that person grow professionally. Item 8 is to approve a one-time stipend for Mrs. Hartline. She has done a phenomenal job. She moved over and has supported me in the role here and is amazing. Has been an absolute rock star, but through this whole time also has been doing payroll and is the only one that knows how to do payroll. And so now with the hiring of a payroll person, we asked to consider a one-time stipend, which we've done previously in other roles when staff members have backfilled and supported and filled in for us. But she has balanced everything out and working during the school day, working nonstop in the evenings to help keep us going. So a huge credit to her for what she's done.
Your free pizza's back there.
Then I mentioned the stipend.
That's a stipend.
Yeah, exactly. I can't say enough about how blessed I am to be able to work with her. She is amazing. With that being said, it is the end of the personnel report.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none, can we get a roll call, please?
Mr. Rightnow.
Yes.
Mr. Sheets.
Yes.
Mr. Stuvitz.
Yes.
Mrs. Walliser.
Yes.
Mrs. Eisenhart.
Yes.
Mrs. Herzog.
Yes.
Mr. Honchel.
Yes.
Mrs. Hume.
Yes.
Mr. Wagner.
Yes.
9 yeas. Motion carries.
Any additional questions or comments?
When it comes to our greenhouse, am I getting the right understanding? Like, are we gonna sell vegetables to the public and stuff? Like, can I get my garden supply out of there? Or is this just like?
So the plan for the greenhouse is twofold. One, it is to be experimental with the programs that we have for the ag.
So you don't want
That will tie to FFA. The goal then is to allow FFA to use that as fundraisers. So one of the thought processes is like, if we know what the flower is going to be for graduation, instead of buying those flowers, could they grow them for graduation? Could they grow things that they could sell back to the public? Yes. That is the long-term goal. I don't know what the timeline is or what that's going to mean immediately, though. Okay.
Okay, I do need to announce that we had an executive session on May 28th in regards to personnel, on June 4th in regards to personnel, and June 8th, this evening prior to the meeting for our annual safety review. With that, could I get a motion and a second to adjourn?
So move Sheets.
Second right now.
Thank you, everyone.
Everyone has a wonderful summer. Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Totally want.